Hi, I'm Valerie Lastly. I am an abuse recovery coach, and I am speaking from the heart. So as we continue my story today of the abuse that I suffered while being a Christian in church. As we last spoke, I was at the Spouse Abuse Center, and I did know that my husband would not give up easily. And he did exactly what I knew he would do. He went to my minister, to the same minister that he had escorted out of our home. He went to the minister. He confessed all that he had done. He confessed the drug usage. He got baptized. And the very next day, he went into treatment, a 30-day treatment program for drug addiction and anger management. I had already figured out that that would be his next move because that was the only move he could make. The minister was the only one that he could think of who could talk to me. Well, the minister did talk to me, but it didn't do much good. Not at first. I had taken a leave of absence from my job for 30 days, so he could not call me or contact me in any way. I had nothing to say to him, and I wanted to hear nothing from him. When I went back to work, after a couple of days, I had a dozen roses delivered to my job. I put them in the trash. I was accustomed to this honeymoon feeling after he had acted out with me. There was always a teddy bear, some type of stuffed animal, or flowers, something. But never, I'm sorry. He was never sorry for anything he did. When I did return to work, the rehab center started to call me. Ms. Johnson, we need you to participate in his recovery. You know that you're a big part of his recovery. And my answer was to them, do not call me again. He has to do this for him, not for me. I will not take part in any recovery program for him. So, that stopped that. But it didn't stop my minister from talking to me and telling me that, you know, he's been baptized into the church now. He's a Christian. You need to give him a second chance. And my response was, the devil that went down into the water is the same devil that came out of the water. He's only doing it so that you can tell me to come home. It's all fake. I said, and you have to know that everybody who gets baptized does not put on Christ. It is just an act, and it is an act with him. But my minister continued to try and get me to change my mind. But I wouldn't. Not at first. For 6 months, I stayed away from him. After 3 months, I allowed him to come and pick up the 2 younger boys for the weekend, and he would bring them back on Sunday night. They stayed with me. The center was no place for a 14-year-old, however, and he was old enough to maneuver on his own, so he would go back to the neighborhood, spend time with his cousin and his aunt and his friends, and go to school. Well, he eventually started talking to his father. And around the 4th month, of my time at the center, my husband found a house to rent in our old neighborhood, close to my 14-year-old school. And he stayed with him so he could go to school. I was confused by that move. I didn't think he really wanted me to come back to that life, but I couldn't understand why he went there to stay with him. I was really confused. But I had pressure from my minister about giving him a second chance. He was now baptized. I couldn't stay away, separated or divorced from him now that he is a Christian. I had no grounds. He was trying. And so after 6 months, when school was out, I went back to him. I moved into the house that he had rented for us. And on the very first evening, I knew I had made a mistake. But I tried. I really tried. He wasn't physical anymore, but he was still mentally abusive, verbally abusive, emotionally abusive. But he was going to church. Every time the doors opened, he was going to church. He was driving the church van to pick up the members who didn't have transportation. He was coaching a basketball team. He was coaching a baseball team. He was really involved. And everyone was saying, "Oh, he's really trying. You really need to give him time. It will get better. Just be patient with him. Just be patient, sister. Just be patient." And I tried to be patient. But at some point, my patience wore thin. I was putting clothes away. And as I reached up on the shelf to put his sweaters away, my hand touched something that was familiar to me. I pulled it out, and it was drugs. I confronted him with it, and he said, "That's not mine. I'm just holding that for somebody else." And he was dragging me out to Al-Anon meetings, NA meetings, every Monday night, like he was really clean. And on his 1-year anniversary, he invited the minister to celebrate his 1 year of sobriety. And it was all a lie. All a lie. And I was tired. I tried, but I couldn't do it. So, I opened a checking account that he did not know about, and I started to put my money away so that I could save for a security deposit and first month's rent to move. On November 16th, 1990, I moved to my own place for the first time in 16 years. My own place. Only my name on the lease. I was so happy. My head had hurt for a whole week. But as soon as I got in the car and pulled out of that driveway and away from that house, my head stopped hurting. It was the best feeling in the world to open that apartment door to my place. I didn't care if I didn't have any furniture. It was mine. The kids had their beds. I had my bed. I wrote a letter to him, and I made a copy of it that I left with the minister at the very same time, because I didn't want him saying anything that I did not say or that I did not do. And I was done. But he wasn't. You know, that is the time that is most dangerous for a woman, when she leaves her abuser and he no longer has that hold on her. He's so frightened, he doesn't know what to do. So it wasn't over yet. But I told my minister I would rather die than go back to that. And I meant it. Stay tuned. It's not over yet. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Until next time, this is Valerie Lassley, and I am speaking from the heart.